This is Bill Osborne, City Manager. I'm speaking to you from the new studio facilities of CITI TV. When we come back for this edition of On the Agenda, I'll tell you why the On the Agenda set on new studio looks just like it did in our old facilities. Also, I'll be speaking to our city webmaster about our website, and I'll be visiting with our city clerk concerning the upcoming city election. I hope you'll join me. Time flies. I think all of us would agree with that adage. It's hard to realize that this is the start of the second year of CITI TV. That CITI TV has been on the air now for a full year, so they're starting the second year of operation, and this is the start of the second year of programs for On the Agenda. Today, I'm in CITI TV's new studio. Now I know as you look, it seems like it's the same backdrop, and we'll explain that in a minute, but I want you to know that as you're looking at your screen, you're seeing what our CITI TV crew had to do in order to prepare for one of the studio programs, such as On the Agenda, Ask the Mayor, Gov 101. Any of our other programs, they were actually taped in the City Council chambers. And so several times each month, Kelly Hunter and her crew of Jason Post and Steve Jones had to put up the green screen, which provided what appeared at the time of taping to be the backdrop, but then with the magic of our crew and technology, then they made unique backgrounds that looked like expensive studios. In fact, we had a couple of people ask us a few months ago where the city had built all of their studios and how much did it cost. Well, as you can see, as you're looking today, it's basically a good staff and a computer, and they were able to do wonders with this. Now, many of you may have seen Mayor Thompson's show in which he and Steve explained how this is done and how the green screen operates. What we want to do today is just let you know that we are in a new environment. We now have their own studio for CITI TV. And what you see on the background at the moment, you're looking at the green backdrop where we're actually doing the taping. It's almost the same color as the old green screen, but it serves the same purpose. And what Steve and Jason and Kelly will do later through the technology that they will apply is you will end up seeing, as you do now, the backdrop for On the Agenda, and that's what we'll have for the rest of the program today. We're proud of what our CITI TV crew has done during this past year. Now they're in a new location. They've moved out of the quarters that they had in City Hall, down Church Street, 6713 Church Street, the old Jet and List Law Office, where they have a real studio. They're sharing that building with the city's Community and Downtown Services Department, directed by Marcia Hampton. Ms. Hampton has most of her operation now in this new facility. Does let us take the old building that they were in, the bank building at the corner of Broad and O'Neill Plaza, and we'll be able to expand the Convention and Visitors Bureau operation in that building. But one more thing I would mention, that Kelly and Steve and Jason no longer have to put up a green screen. They simply painted the wall here in the studio, and so that will give them more time to do more activities on CITI TV. In closing, let me point out that if you have an interest in seeing any of the CITI TV programs from this past year, you're able to do that. If you look on your screen, you can see the website that you can go to. Click in on that. There's a web streaming that operates so you can zero in on which program you want to see. Ask the Mayor, Gov 101, my program, any of the other programs that we've had in special activities during the past year. Hope you'll check that out. You also can go to the city's website, and you're seeing that address on your screen at the moment. If you go to our website, you will be able to see the icon that will, if you press the symbol for our City TV. You can go to the same menu, and hope you'll do that. Check all of that out, as well as I hope you will check out our city's website. In fact, if you watched this program last month, you know that I talked with 4 ladies who are very good city employees. They handle telephone calls that come into the different departments of city government. They do a great job, and I think they did a great job on the agenda. In fact, I had so much fun talking with them that we ran long, and the last segment was to be an interview with Karen Knight, who among other things is the city's webmaster. And so we didn't get a chance to show you the interview with Karen Knight, and we'd like to do that at this time because we do want you to be aware of what the city's website offers. And so at this time, we're going to go back to a previous taped segment of myself with Karen Knight. Then I'll be back, and I'll be talking then about city elections. Welcome you to On the Agenda, but Karen's been welcoming me in the mornings for about 15 years. There's nobody in city government that can read me as good as she can. She anticipates me and certainly has done a great job during the time that she's worked with me in taking good care of my needs and making sure that I've had what I have needed as city manager. And so I want to start, Karen, by saying thank you for all that you've done down through the years. And Karen, at this point, serves as the administrative assistant to Mayor Thompson and myself. But in addition to that duty, we give her a lot of other duties, because anything you ask Karen to do, I found down through the years, she both is conscientious with it and does a good job. And one of the things that she has at this point is as the webmaster. And so we may be talking to people today who go to our website frequently. We may be talking to some people that have never visited our website. So give us the address and tell us what a person will find if they were to bring up our website on their computer.
Well, our city web address is www.ci.douglasville.ga.us. When you visit our website, you'll see a welcome page with various links to various departments, including our city council agenda, news and announcements, jobs, and many other links.
Okay. Now I know those links include, like with the police department, other departments, parks, and now you can make a link to some other organizations. What are some of those?
Some of the other organizations we have on our site are the Douglas County School System, the Douglas County Government, Chamber of Commerce, and the Development Authority of Douglasville and Douglas County.
Okay, very good. Now, during the month, the average month, about how many hits do we get on our website? And if somebody hasn't looked at our website recently, in the last few months, what kind of changes will they find when they go there?
Well, on average, we have about 33,000 hits per month, which is a pretty good average. We have just added information about our new public safety municipal court building, and very soon we'll be able to watch live and archive video broadcast of City TV. We are constantly updating our site, so it's best to check it out often. Okay.
And you did touch on one thing that we're looking forward to seeing. We're delighted to have people with us today on the agenda, but the time is coming soon that they will be able to watch City TV, not only the way they're doing it now, but as you say, you can pull it up on your computer. Now, our interest, of course, is providing information to the public, but you know, we could put a lot of just facts and figures out there on the website that would be very difficult for somebody to look at and make heads or tails out of. And I know you and some other people have spent a lot of time trying to determine how do we make a good presentation and how do we provide information that people can look at, absorb, and have an interest in learning more about what they're seeing on our website. So tell me how you do this.
Well, we try to keep the departments trained, and so they can update certain sections of the site at all times. And we try to keep our main page where visitors can look at it with 2 mouse clicks, go to a certain department. Like our finance department, if they want an occupational license, they'd be able to go to the finance department and click on the occupational license form and print it out and bring it into City Hall to apply for their new license.
Okay, very good. Now, appreciate that report. You don't answer the phone much, but there are times that you answer the phone, and of course, you've got a very pleasant voice, and people have seen, even today, while you're doing this report, you smile a lot, and that comes through, I think, when people have contact with you. But, you know, talking about telephones, that although you don't do much answering the phone anymore, I mentioned that you have a lot of different duties. And, of course, one of those duties, we put you in charge of the city's telephone system. So if the phones go down in the police department, they call you.
Yes.
And that's just another example of what Karen means to city government. Now, we don't have time to talk today about our telephone system. We'll bring you back another time to do that. But as we wrap up today, tell me a little bit about your family.
Well, I've been married to Ricky Knight for 17 years. He's employed with the city as our fleet maintenance manager. We have one son, Ricky Jr., who attends Airway Christian Academy and will start high school next year. We also have one cat whose name is Yoda.
Okay. I know that Karen's a long-time Star Wars fan, and but we appreciate that, and we're delighted to have you and Rick as city employees. I'm going to let you go at this time because I'm sure with what I've loaded you up with already today, you've got a lot to do when you get back upstairs in the office. But I just want to thank you for joining me today on the agenda.
Thank you for having me.
Hello, I'm Joe Wilson, and I'm your police chief here in the city of Douglasville. The purpose of my few moments today is to let you know that myself and other members of our command staff are available to come out and talk to your homeowners group, your civic organization, your church group about the needs for a new police department for the employees and for the citizens of the city of Douglasville. If you will just call us at 770-920-3021 and ask for myself. If I'm not available, Becky will field your call and we'll get back in touch with you, and we will make arrangements at your convenience for someone to come out and talk to you. And I think when everybody hears and sees our needs and sees what we're doing and why we're doing it, I think that you'll all be in favor of a new public safety building to increase our effectiveness and efficiency. Thank you so much, and we appreciate your support. Thank you.
We're back in City TV's new studio. Actually, this is the first program that City TV is producing in its new studio. And for this edition of On the Agenda, welcoming today our City Clerk, Joyce Stone. Joyce, you're our first guest in the new studio. Welcome back to On the Agenda.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Well, you know, you and I visited several weeks ago, and we talked about your responsibilities as city clerk, focused on your responsibility as the keeper of the records in the city seal. And today, though, we want to talk about another area of your work, and that's in the area of elections. And this is good timing for us to do that because, of course, on September 16th, there will be a special election in the city of Douglasville. Voters will be going to the polls for two purposes. On a citywide basis, they will be going to decide what will take place with a general election bond issue, a referendum to determine whether or not they will authorize the city to issue bonds which would pay for the construction of the new public safety and municipal court building. Right. Also, for voters in Ward 3, they'll be asked to select a successor to Henry Mitchell III, who had served on the city council for several years until he retired at the 1st of May to run for Douglas County Tax Commissioner. And so we'll have those two reasons for people to go to the polls on September 16th, and we hope people will certainly will do that. Let's start, if you would, let's just tell people where do they need to go to vote on September 16th?
Okay, well, since it's a citywide election, everybody will be voting. We have wards 1 and 2 and 4 that vote at the old courthouse.
Okay.
And then Stewart Middle School is where the Ward 3 voters will vote. Arbor Station Elementary is for Ward 5. Now, Wards 1, 2, 4, and 5 will vote on the general obligation bond only. And then Ward 3 will have the additional item on their vote cards so that they'll vote for the Ward 3 Post 1 position.
Okay. Now suppose whether I'm a newcomer to Douglasville or have been here for some time and I just am not sure where I need to go on September 16th, how do I find out for sure which polling place I go to?
You can, the voters can check their precinct cards, which are mailed to them. They can call voter registration at the county courthouse, or they can call me. I can check for them. I have a list, and if I had any problem, I could just go straight to voter registration at the courthouse.
Okay. Now suppose I'm going to be out of town on election day, or I simply don't want to wait until September 16th to cast my vote because I'm not sure what I might have to be doing at that time.
Right.
What are my options?
Well, you have the same options you do in any election. You'll have the same thing for the special election. You can vote the week before the September 16th election. That's September 8th through 12. You vote at the county courthouse. And then you can also vote by absentee ballot the same way you do for any other election. You pick them up at the courthouse. You can call and have them mailed to you.
Right. Okay. Now, the special election that we're having on the City Council, of course, came about because, as I mentioned, former Mayor Pro Tem Henry Mitchell resigned to run for countywide office.
Right.
We did have a qualifying period for candidates who might be interested in qualifying. Of course, the council members had already selected his successor as Mayor Pro Tem, and they chose Roy Mims from Ward 5. But of course, it's up to the voters to decide who is selected to succeed Mr. Mitchell on the City Council.
Right.
Now, I know when we had the qualifying that there was only one person that qualified,
Correct.
and that was LaShawn Danley. So does this mean that she's already run the race, won the race? Does this mean that after the September 16th is over, she's simply sworn in? Tell me how that works, and also when whomever is sworn in, what length of term do they serve?
Okay. Ms. Danley will be on the ballot, and she will need to be officially elected. Had we not had anything else on the ballot, then we would not even have this. She would be deemed as having voted for herself, and she would be elected. Right. But we will vote for her, and then she'll be sworn in at the next council meeting, and she'll serve the remaining term of that Mr. Mitchell vacated, and that'll be through December of '09.
Okay, so and so then in '09, regular election, then either Ms. Danley, if she was seeking re-election, or whomever, that would be for a 4-year term.
Correct.
In that election.
Right.
And of course, the other item on the ballot, citywide, will be the referendum on the general obligation bond issue for the proposed public safety municipal court building. We're not going to talk about any details on that project today. Twice already I've done on the agenda programs on that topic. I know Chief Wisnett this month is devoting a substantial amount to the police beat program to that. And that is a very important project, and I hope the voters will educate themselves on it and will go to the polls and express their view on whether or not the city should have the authority to issue these bonds. But what I do want to talk about a little bit today is the process of elections and voting. Now, if somebody is a resident of the city, is not a registered voter, wants to be able to vote not only in the September 16th special election, but Also, the November 4 general election. I know time's running out to do that, so tell me about where they stand.
They will have to vote in the September 16th election. They will need to be registered to vote by August the 18th. That's the last day, and they do register at the same place everybody registers. They would register at the courthouse, at the registrar's office, and that would put them in the position to vote in November also.
Okay. Now, I know for a number of years the city of Douglasville and the Douglas County government have had an intergovernmental agreement concerning elections, registering people to vote, and actually holding the elections.
Right.
Tell our viewers what's involved in how that works.
Well, actually, the county conducts all aspects of the election except for qualifying, which is what I do. They use the same equipment and poll workers and so forth, but they handle everything from start to finish.
Right. And that, of course, makes life better from our standpoint because we don't have to train poll workers. These workers already are trained, and so I think it works to the advantage of the city to have that intergovernmental agreement. And, of course, we do pay the county for the cost of the services that they provide to us. And I know that down through the years you've worked closely with county officials, now with the election superintendent, Laura Fulton. How do you two ladies kind of coordinate when you're looking forward to a city election such as we'll have on September 16th?
Well, basically I am contacting her as qualifying goes on. I give her the information of what goes on the ballot. She has the ballots built, which is a technical term, which means playing with the computer and getting everything all set up inside those little touch screens so that they can vote. She brings the information back to me, I review it, make sure everything is spelled correctly, and so on and so forth. Everything that they do is coordinated with the city to make sure, you know, certain information comes from us and certain information comes from them.
Right.
I believe this is a cost-efficient way to do this. We don't have to purchase the touchscreen equipment, hire the ballot builders, hire the poll workers, train them.
Right.
We use the same equipment also, so you're familiar with your voting equipment as you have been in the past with the county. So it's familiar.
Right, and speaking of being familiar, I know that sometimes we do find individuals that are somewhat confused about, okay, it's election day city, it's election day county, especially those that have different polling places to go to. And city and county officials obviously recognize that sometimes that can be confusing to some of our citizens. And an answer, though, is not a real quick and easy answer because basically the county voting precinct lines do not follow city limits lines. State law requires the city to have its polling places inside the city.
It also requires a certain number of people to be within their boundaries, and that may not translate into the county because they've got to draw theirs so that they have a certain number of people in their precincts.
Right.
So,
and of course recently the two of us, Mayor Thompson, our Chief Assistant City Attorney Susan Littlefield, met with Douglas County Election Superintendent Laura Fulton and a member of her staff just to talk about how do we make things work as smoothly as possible for the voters. Give us a couple of comments on what you feel like the outcome of that meeting was.
well, we discussed what you and I just discussed about trying to make it easier for the voters, and what we decided was the information that our voters get as to where to go to vote. That's the most important thing. Right. So we have plans on making sure that they get it as far as being able to call me, call the registrar, have information on City TV, on our website, and as I said earlier, if you need to know something, just give me a call. I'm usually there, and
Right.
if I don't know the answer, I'll call you back and get it for you.
Right.
And we hope to, before November of 2009, we hope to be able to have you voters who live in the tributary area a new voting place in that side of the county.
Right. I know that if you look at, for those individuals who live in the city, say east of Lee Road, the Sweetwater subdivision, of course, tributary is, as you mentioned, that would be something that would make going to the polls more convenient for them, because the city's desire, and working with Ms. Fulton, her desire is for us to make it as easy as possible for people in the city, of course, to get registered, but also to go express their opinion at the polls. Ms. Stone, are there any other points you want to make about city elections and that part of your work as city clerk?
Well, basically, I'd like for the voters to know that I'm here to serve you. That's what a city is all about, is service to the citizens. And so if you need something, call me. And like I said before, if I don't know the answer, I will find it out for you.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for being with me today. The first time you were here, as I mentioned earlier, we talked about your role as the official keeper of city records. Today we've talked about your role as in charge of city elections. We're going to have you back another time, and then we'll talk about your role as city clerk as it relates to the city council. You have a lot of responsibilities there. And of course, one of the more time-consuming responsibilities is one you and I work on continually, and that's trying to get all the materials ready for the city council agenda. And of course, they're meeting an average of once a week, and so there's a lot of work that's involved with that. But as we conclude today, any final comments you want to make?
Just everybody go to the polls and vote. All
right, sounds like good advice, and thank you again for being here. My first guest in the new facilities of City TV. So you came in on your vacation to do it, so we appreciate you doing that. And
no problem.
On behalf of our city clerk, Joyce Stone, and myself, this is Bill Osborne signing off on the agenda.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Bean. I'm the Conference Center Manager for the Downtown Douglasville Conference Center. I run the facility for the City of Douglasville, and the city wanted to let you know about the venue that we have if you're planning any events for 2008. The facility is equipped with audiovisual equipment and also a large pre-function area for your event. We can host 10 to 15 people for a small meeting, and it also can hold up to 250 for a larger event. The facility also has smaller breakout rooms, and we can also divide our large room into smaller rooms if you do have a small event for this year. In addition to the conference center, I also manage the O'Neill Plaza, which is also good for outdoor events. For more information on the Downtown Douglasville Conference Center and O'Neill Plaza, please call me at 678-715-6094.
As I conclude today's edition of On the Agenda, I want to leave you with 4 thoughts. One, if you're a registered voter in Douglasville, please go to the polls on September 16th and make your wishes known. Second, I hope you will check out our website for the City of Douglasville. Third, I hope you will check out the City TV website and maybe look at some of the past year's programming of City TV. And fourth, I hope you'll join me next month for another edition of On the Agenda. Thank you very much.